Howdy everybody, my name is Alpha Wookie and welcome to the Horizon TCG Showcase. I've been a homemade TCG game, I guess you could call me a developer, that might be a bit pretentious, but I've been a game designer for, ever since I could probably remember drawing. Always been fascinated with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And my brother and I have always been obsessed, and I do mean obsessed, with creating our own card game that we can enjoy and perhaps spread to everybody else. And you know, a lot of our attempts either end up boring, or the game rules fall flat, or maybe, you know, ideas are best on paper and that's where they're meant to be kept. But today they're popping off the paper, because we finally created a TCG that's working for us. We love the rules, we love the way the game plays, and it's called Horizon TCG. Oh, you cannot see that. I will probably have something on the screen, like some sort of whatever. First of all, when I say obsessed, I do mean obsessed. And this obsession spreads to the community that I found on the internet, the homemade TCG community. I think what I was doing is I was in the middle of making an old Naruto Shippuden Clash of Ninja card game, and call me a weeaboo if you like. That's exactly what I was doing, and I was looking up tips on making custom cards. And that's when I found Chaos Galaxy. And I know everybody says, oh, I found Chaos Galaxy, but that's what we do. We find the YouTube community through him. And it's just amazing that we've all come together and done something like this. And I'm proud to finally open up my channel and be a part of something like this. So I guess I'm going to process this video in the way that normally our games are created, and that is starting with the concept. We started the same way that we normally do. We started with a bunch of friends, some notebooks, some pencils, and we started writing down concepts. Eventually we came to the conclusion that we wanted a battlefield-style system, and that battlefield system is something nearly identical to what we have kept in the game to this day. And by the way, this isn't like years of production. I wish I could say that, oh, my friends and I, we've been working on this for years. This is probably about a month, maximum of 3 months worth of work here. I'm pretty proud of what we've come up with, by the way. And from there, we decided we started doing rough sketches of our cards. This obviously isn't the rough sketch that the original, you know, art. Obviously, our boxes aren't perfect. This is actually my final sketch that I did for the card art design that we have still kept to this day. And I say to this day as in so many years have passed, and we still keep the original ideas. But from there, we decided what we wanted, and actually our game has changed drastically. We eventually started with a deck building idea, and one of the main complaints of one of my friends was that he didn't want to build a deck in-game. He wanted to build a deck before game. He wanted a fire-type deck, and he wanted to play with all fire-type characters in the game. And my brother and I eventually came to the conclusion that the deck-building game that we had created and lovingly crafted, it wasn't going to work out as well as we had hoped. And that from that point on, we decided that maybe a TCG is better off. And that's how we're here today. So backtrack a little, we came up with the 5 elements that we wanted to keep, and I said that we wanted to keep it small. Eventually we voted against having weaknesses and strengths and things like that. But if any weaknesses or strengths were to occur, it would be in the natural game style that each element encouraged. So what we did is we came up with, and I do realize this is in a transmutation circle. Sometimes you can't escape anime even if you want to. So we've earth, fire, wind, lightning, and water. And so from here, I took that and I branched out to our game. I made symbols, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but later on, my brother and I, we sat down for probably 2 hours and we painstakingly decided what each element was going to be about, because we started realizing that our game was losing direction. And obviously, we can't... so my brother and I, everybody was tasked with sitting down and designing characters and designing card ideas. Obviously, because we didn't have a direction, everything was frantic. Everything was just random ideas thrown onto a page, given an element, things like that. But now we've kind of created an art form of it. I don't want to reveal too much, but the element that we're focusing on right now and that we're almost done with, I think, for the first series is Earth. Their passives are straightforward, but they also, if you link them quite well, they have defensive capability, which could be equal to like good HP and good blocking ability and protection effects and things like that. Basically what you have to know. So for now, all the card arts that we're producing, it's going to be for Earth. So before I jump in, I've got some art concepts that I kept from earlier. This is a, I don't want to reveal the names yet, so this is obviously the Void Seeker. I had to name it. These are all Earth-type characters. This is a lightning character, obviously. This is something my brother designed. My brother isn't an artist, per se. What he does is he draws rough sketches, and then from there, I redesign it. And this is my redesign of his character, Livewire, and he's actually pretty happy with it. And then this is some of the... I'm actually really proud of how these guys came out. And I might as well name this guy for you. This is the Guardian of the Stone, and he's going to be one of the cards I'm going to be showing off to you today. So the most important type of card in the game would be the monster card, the game that all the real game is played with. So the basic idea is that each player has a kingdom. It doesn't really matter. The kingdom is an arbitrary idea, just something that you're protecting. So you have the kingdom. We're thinking it has around 300 health. We haven't really banged out the number yet. We're doing some testing, but 300 is kind of the number we've come up for now. So the main thing that is going to be doing the heavy lifting are the monster cards, and this is a Dark Wolf. I'm going to be having all the cards show up on here so you can see and color and far better detail. So a monster card consists of, besides all its pretty little art that goes on it, its HP, its element affiliation, its counterattack, its ability to attack, and its power cost. Every every monster has a power cost. So this Dark Wolf, as you can see along the bottom, has 2 power costs. It's a level 2 monster, and so that means you have to wait until you have 2 points to be able to spend for this character. Every turn that passes, everybody gets an extra power point to spend. So on turn 2, if you had Dark Wolf in your hand, you could summon Dark Wolf. This element affiliation is not just an element affiliation, but also a resource and energy that the card itself can spend. So when the card is not exhausted, it can use resources from its resources to spend on its Ravage attack, which would be 1 mountain energy, or it can use its mountain energy in the corner. This is why a game can be played entirely with monster cards, because they can fuel themselves. But if you use that energy in the corner, they become exhausted. So, when attacking, so if I were to use the Ravage ability on another card, such as another Dark Wolf, there is a counter ability right here. So every time, so if Dark Wolf were to do Ravage on another Dark Wolf, this Dark Wolf would deal 30 in damage to the other Dark Wolf, but because of its counter ability, 20 in damage would be dealt automatically back to this Dark Wolf. And also along the bottom, you can't really see the text in the camera, but hopefully on the image, there is lore. And I'll read that off for you. Upon the arrival of a full moon, these creatures become a thief of the night and embody the evil deeds of man. So I plan to build a heavy story along all of these cards, and hopefully something that at least 1 subscriber is interested in. I don't know how I have 2 subscribers already. I haven't done anything! So yeah, so this is the basic idea of a monster. We have other elements that we incorporate. This is a level 4 monster. This is the Guardian of the Stone, the same art that I showed off earlier. And he has something a bit special about him. He has 2 mountain energies in the corner. So this can occur on any card. It could even be mixed energies. It can be a fire and an earth, and that means it is a fire and earth element affiliation, and it has 1 fire and 1 earth to spend. So the lore reads, it's a biological experiment of Drudge the Traitor. Lacking a brain, it cannot think for itself. Its only command ever given was to guard the supply of massive building stones for Drudge's tomb. Tragically, after Drudge betrayed the earth to live in the sky, these creatures obediently guarded the stones. As they were led to and fro by the peoples of the earth, they remained loyal to the tomb and dragged with them their precious building blocks. So if you can't tell, this gigantic stone that he's dragging behind him is one of those stones that he was said to be supposed to guard. And it's also something that he might swing around and hit people with, thus the crashing cinder block move. Alright, so we have other mechanics that are applied. So this is an analyst. This is the first level 1 monster that we created. It's got 0 counterattack, which is really annoying when you can't counter anything, trust me. But it has an interesting passive up top. Besides its Bumble Smash attack, it says at any point in your turn, you may discard this monster and place an Earth coin anywhere in play. So I was interestingly drawn to an idea of a variable in the game. And this variable became the coin. So every element has the ability to place a coin in game. So, you know, this is an unlimited amount of coins. So some cards might place, 5 Earth coins in play anywhere you like. And those coins are going to act as variables. And now, this Earth coin obviously means nothing unless something is acting upon it, like this next card, the Megalith. So, it says, as long as this monster is not exhausted and it has at least 4 Earth coins attached to it, you may search your deck for a Gigalith of any kind and put it into play exhausted, and discard this monster. So, a Gigalith is a card I've already made. I'm not going to show the art yet. I think build a little hype for it, you know? But it's one of the most powerful cards that we've created for the Earth deck as of yet, and instead of waiting for turn 7 to be able to even play it, as long as you have 4 Earth coins on Megalith, you can discard this card, search your deck for any card that is a Gigalith. So if it's a Magma Gigalith, anything. If I ever make another type of Gigalith, you can put that into play, and you've done it early turn. So that's pretty cool. There are other ways that the Earth coin is applied, and that is on this level stone golem. And then its first attack says, place 2 damage counters on every enemy monster that has an Earth coin attached to them. So these monsters or scroll cards or anything that you put in play, they can act on these variables, these coins that are in play. And so this level golem also has a tag, is what we call it. It has a range tag, and it says this monster's attacks can only be countered by monsters with ranged. So a lot of monsters are going to have different tags that play in gameplay that make their strategy a bit different. So I mentioned resources earlier, so I'm going to get on to that. Basically, another important card in gameplay are the resources, things that you can set down, and at the beginning of your turn you can exhaust them to do what it says on the card. So this mountain quarry, it says resource renewable. When a resource is renewable, that means you can use it every turn. It does not extinguish if you use it too much. So this mountain quarry, it's a simple renewable energy. It says place 1 mountain energy in your resources, and it's a power 1 cost. We also have other types of resources, like this lumber mill. It is a limited 3. That means you can only exhaust this resource 3 times, and then after the 3rd time you have to discard it. But it has a better payoff to it. It says place 2 mountain energies in your resources. And then you have what's called a volatile resource. Volatile resources are resources that can only be used in 1 turn. And so this is volcanic activity. It says place 3 earth or fire energy in any combination into your resources. So that's pretty nice. So these energies are constantly going into play to fuel attacks and scrolls and all different kinds of things. So we have other types of cards called turf cards. These are land cards that you can put into play that affect you or your opponent's kingdoms. So this is the Volcanic Mountains. It's a turf card. It says every time you put volcanic activity, this card, resource into play, you may choose one of the following. Discard a monster in play, deal 15 damage to a kingdom, or place 5 of any combination of earth or fire coins on any combination of targets. Next we have the Prairie, and this one has an energy that you can spend. And my brother and I decided if you use an ability that takes an energy, you can't use that ability again on your same turn. So this Prairie says 1 mountain energy, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose 3 and place them in any order at the top of your deck, and place the other 2 remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. Okay. And then finally we have something I've been mentioning, which is the scroll cards, and I'm going to show the art, which is my absolute favorite, for Earthquake. These kingdoms are activating scrolls and summoning ancient powers and things like that. So this is Earthquake. It takes 1 mountain energy plus any number of any type of energy, and it says deal 20 damage plus 20 times X, which is up here, to any monster or kingdom, and you may place X amount of earth coins anywhere in play. So then there comes the earth coins again. And then finally, you have to have cards that allow you to draw cards. Otherwise, your game is going to fall flat, and you're not going to have much else to do. We have another card called Meditate, which just allows you to draw 2 cards, but this card is called Mine. It's specifically for the Earth element, and it's 1 Earth energy. We've got a little smudge up here because we've changed the pricing for it, but it's an instant scroll, and instant means you can play it on anybody's turn, as long as you have resources to expend. And so we have flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for a card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If tails, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Take 1 card face down and place that card in your hand. Shuffle your deck after either option. So, obviously I have a lot more cards to show, and I'm very excited about it, but I'm going to have to cut the video short for now. I'm Alpha Wookie, and I'm hoping to make a lot more for you guys soon, so stay tuned for now, and just keep on supporting each other, YouTube. Later.